that scene in Better Call Saul when he's in the bed and he's got where Chuck's in the bed, in the hospital bed with his electromagnetic allergy, and they turn on the machine underneath his bed and he doesn't even realize it because he doesn't know. That's everyone now.
I mean, on the topic of shadow banning and the algorithm, spiking conservative or heterodox content, I would actually pay Twitter to hide my content from 95% of the people who follow me. I would love it if Twitter were shadow banning me. It would make my
this is
my
the thing you might
experience
get
of using the site
out of Elon.
Yeah.
If he really goes ham, we might see him like throw some really wacky ideas out there, like some sort of Twitter elite package where you get like a totally curated experience.
I would pay for it. Okay, Elon, are you listening? Twitter elite tier. I want to make it so Michael Caine has to reply to me when I reply to him when he does posts like, hello, it's Michael. And when I say hi, Michael, I want him to say hello back. That's all. That's what I'm asking from the elite tier of Twitter.
I have a few suggestions that I think everyone could get behind. I think if you're a verified account, girls' AVs should be auto-enlarged. I think that if a girl follows you and she's locked, you don't get to read her timeline, like that's personal, but you get to kind of see what she looks like. Some of the media grid, not all of it. I'm not greedy.
You should get 10 clicks through the media grid on a locked account.
Girls have to say if they have a boyfriend or are married when they follow you. Girls have to have stories that I can reply to. It's not right that there's only one social media where I can do this. I will say the one change I have experienced is that it used to be like once a day I would get a DM in my message request from like a targeted individual who is yelling at me. And I've gotten 0 since this deal started. So I think like, I don't know, either I stopped targeting individuals, that's possible, or they turned off the targeted individual bot.
Matt, I remember you had a comment just like the other week or so about like how like there's all these new shows, there's all these new streaming shows about like sort of entrepreneurial fraud. Like it's about there's the WeWork show, there's the Uber show, there's the show about Elizabeth Holmes. There's a whole crop of them, and you made the point that like Elon is so big that like if his shit goes down, there's not going to be any streaming shows.
Yeah, there's not going to be
make
some
about Elon
wacky Hulu program with Brendan Fraser doing a funny accent. Will you be able to do a puppet show like inside the gutted Kroger you're living in about him? But that's about it.
Yeah, if the Elon bubble bursts, I really hope you have like a VAT suit from Fallout. It would be probably the end of civilization. That is the size and interconnectivity of the Elon bubble. I will say the things that some people would say after the Elon bubble burst would be hilarious. Because this deal has kicked off the first inaugural dick riding Olympics.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like anyone who any guy who's over 45 years of age and has written a book called like The Politics of Me Versus You, Getting Over Our Partisan Divide, has been dick riding Elon Musk with the most intensity and talent. Like I feel like I'm watching like them invent the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook of dick riding every single day since this deal started. And even it's to the point that I think like if the bubble burst and he lost all his money and caused like the greatest recession in the last 100 years, people would still be like, just wait till he comes back. You'll see he's at his most innovative when he's cornered and $400 billion in debt.
It's like, a year 0 plus 20, like year 20 after the Musk collapse. Like people are like scrawling on fucking city walls. Like he's trying to extend the light of cannibalism into the stars. He's trying to, he's trying to extend. Oh, I mean, actually, the funny thing is he actually is trying to extend the light of debt slavery into Mars. Did you see the thing about he basically is going to have indentured servants on his Martian colony? Which, by the way, will never happen.
Will never happen. Just like
absolutely will never happen. Yeah, it's never going to happen. It's all just it. See, this is the fascinating thing about Elon Musk to me is like Felix, like what you were saying about the dick riding Olympics going on. That like, for the sort of tranche of men over the age of 45 in this country who make between 70 grand and like mid 6 figures a year. Like he is their hero. And the thing is, like so much of his like more than any other like billionaire or capitalist like him, like so much of his success is tied up or in his brand and the public perception of him as like an epic meme guy who's saving humanity through like technology and investment in, I don't know, yeah, like in moon colonies and electric cars and shit like that. But like I just think it's like he pays people to invent toys for him, whether it's his fucking flamethrower or the Tesla or his fucking rockets, and then he gets to play with them and claim credit like I invented this shit. And I think like for that trance of men that I'm talking about, they all think that like they are doing what he's doing and they are on the path to like also saving humanity, and that like anyone who criticizes him or makes fun of him is just sort of like it's not really like that they're a hater, but they're just like they're shocked that someone as purely altruistic and brilliant as Elon Musk could be, subjected to such scorn, because really he's such an important thinker, and he really is going to save humanity. That must be stressed. He is going to save humanity.
Right. Because
I
these are
will
people
say
who
that
have given up, I mean, and totally understandably, given up on politics, given up on the idea that there's any collective solution to our problems, but also, want to believe that there's going to be a future. So that means it has to come technologically. And Musk is a personal embodiment of the like techno utopia that they're still dangling like a carrot in front of our eyes. And ironically, like all these people who have given up on politics are all subconsciously part of this huge political project to protect this man and to ride the fuck out of his dick, because they really do think that as long as he's allowed to cook, humanity has like a horizon that we can strive towards, and so that actually gives them a political project to the Elon escort mission, the eternal Elon escort mission.
I will say that like the like battery that they use in the Tesla is like an interesting invention. I kind of like yeah, forgive me. I have trouble believing that the guy who's posting brace yourself, white girls are coming with their pumpkin spice latte memes, that he invented that. I think it's like saying a guy who licensed some Subway franchises invented the sandwich.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean I guess he's the first billionaire in God knows how many years who you can at least pretend invented something, because everyone else is like, John Arnold or Warren Buffett. It's like a guy who's really good at spreadsheets.
Well, Matt, your comment on just people abandoning politics while also creating and working at the service of quite a real political project, techno utopia or techno dystopia, which brings me to the I guess reading series, or the big thing this week, that the Vanity Fair article about Peter Thiel and sort of the new right, and this kind of like the strange new places that they're taking the demanding a society owned and controlled by billionaires is going. So it's actually it's a good article. It's interesting. I think there's some like like a pretty interesting like I don't know, portrayal of like who these people are and like how they think of themselves, and like just where this is all going. So this is by James Pogue in Vanity Fair, Inside the New Right, where Peter Thiel is placing his biggest bets. They're not MAGA. They're not QAnon. Curtis Yarvin and the rising right are crafting a different strain of conservative politics. Now, just to give you a little preview of the article, like what's new about this, or like the politics that they're crafting, is essentially the politics of people who have, like a lot of the ideas wouldn't be, out of place on this show. It's an idea that like, America has reached like a terminal state, and it's like in our inability to like govern and solve problems, and that it's very hard to imagine a way out of this through traditional political means or whatever. It's a highly pessimistic worldview, and the one that they've adopted as a way out of it is that they kind of like they want a kind of new monarchism. They want an American Caesar, whether it's Trump or someone like like a Thiel like techno overlord, to sort of seize power and through extra constitutional means, like just simply like do away with the messiness of democracy and the sclerotic nature of the institutions that govern us, and kind of like sort of change society for the better. In their mind, for the benefit of like working class families and like single income homes where you can like go to church and raise your kids in kind of like a clean, safe, and ordered society that is like that respects tradition. Now, and all these people believe that our current society is managed by what Curtis Yarvin refers to as the cathedral. It's this kind of like self reinforcing caste of sort of like semi-autonomous propaganda and management that is like administered by a techno sort of like a techno dystopian elite. And like the technology and like a lot of them of course also really admire Ted Kaczynski and his manifesto. Here's the interesting thing though. All of the people who so it's like they want some sort of like Caesar dictator or king like figure, and all the people funding this are, in fact, the very people like Peter Thiel, the people who are actually technological overlords of our society. And now there's a political movement who's like, we need a new king. And someone like Peter Thiel is like, aha, I could do that. So, I mean, like, did you guys see this article? And do you have any thoughts on where it's going?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know. I think that I have a broader theory that we're locked into a dance, as I talked about in a earlier episode, and a new part of that dance is going to include like independent online media. And because like cultural swings are so sudden and so quick now, I think like you're basically going to have 1 year where the cool online thing is like can be interpreted as like somewhat right shifting, and then like 18 months later it will be back to what it was. I do think a lot of people are going to get caught up because something that could seem incredibly cool 1 month it could look like posting a Kekistan flag now. I am curious about like the size of the actual subscriber base, you know? Because the thing with like billionaire backed shit, eventually they get bored, right? And people who don't already have a subscriber base going into it and don't build one up during the period that a billionaire is funding like any type of media thing, they're going to be fucked when they get bored and go on to the next thing. It happened with the Mercers. I mean, yeah, I don't think this is like incredibly novel stuff, nor do I think like, every single thing that I saw in there was part of like a grander Republican project.